Hey, welcome back to another Netcast. I'm Rich Lopez, Quantrix Authority. Sincerely appreciate you joining me today for episode number 345, where we break text in a single cell with multiple lines into multiple cells. I have here some instructions, A, B, and C. And within those instructions, I have multiple lines of instruction code. And they are all within one cell. They just have a char 10 ASCII code that is making them be separated onto the next line. And what I want to do is I actually want to get each of these lines of text into its own cell. So how can I do this? Well, this is a data table here. I've got some rows. I got the instruction code. I got the instruction text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a matrix. I'm going to add a category called instruction code. I'm going to have it be A, B, and C in this example. I'm going to add two items to a category called F, where I want to identify the location of the hard return. Then I'm going to try to return the instructions after I figure out the location of a hard return or the char 10 ASCII code. And this, because there are more than one, because there's several lines of code, I'm going to need to iterate through this multiple times in order to populate these cells, in order to populate cells with the individual lines of code here. So first off, what I would like to do is I would like to find the first hard return. And what I do to do that is I say, I'm going to go in here and create a formula here, and it's going to say in iteration 1, location of hard return is equal to find char 10, that's the ASCII code for a hard return. I'm going to find this instruction text here, and I'm going to hit enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to go out and say, hey, 16 characters into this, you're going to find the hard return. For my instructions in iteration 1, I'm actually going to say in instruction iteration 1, it is equal to the left of my instruction code, and I want to pull back I want to pull back iteration 1's number of characters, and when I do that, you can see that I'm pulling in hydraulic units. Thing is, I'm doing it all for the same. It looks like it's only hitting the first one because this one has lubrication at the top. So I actually need to go in here with that, and I need to say using items here as categories here. And I need to do this also with iteration 1 here. Let me go here and say using items here as categories. It should give me different lengths. So on my third one, I have to go in actually 107 characters before I get to my first return. If I were to look at that here, yeah, it looks like it possibly could be 107 characters, so that's looking accurate. Now in order to pull in the next line of code, so I've got hydraulic units again coming in here, first line's coming in its first cell. If I want to get the second one, what I need to do is I need to find the second occurrence or the second iteration or the nth number of the return that I'm on, going across maybe iterations across the top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in iterations location of hard return is equal to find. What am I finding? I'm finding char 10, that's the ASCII code, and I wanted to find it in here within this instruction text. But I also now have an optional argument called start number. Where do I want to start looking for this? Well, I want to look for it actually after I found the first one, or if I'm like on iteration n, I want to find it after the last iteration, or the last time I found the last position of the last, I guess, hard return that I found. So in order to do that, I would say, go ahead and find this text, and I want to find it in the instruction text, and I want my start number to be the location of my hard return, iteration previous. So I'm going to go iterations, and I'm going to put previous here. And I don't want it to start with 16. I actually want it to start with the one after that. So I'm going to hit +1 here. And if I were to go ahead and hit enter, I would see that on line 16, or sorry, in position 16, I find a hard return. Then in position 72, I find a hard return. If I were to hit enter, it then tells me that on line 114, I find a hard return. So not necessarily outside the realm of possibility. I believe it's calculating correctly. But for me to really verify this and to make sure that it's working and to get the result that I'm really after, I would say in iterations, instruction. I want to take the mid now. I want to take the mid. I want to parse my text. I want to parse this text, and where do I want to start? Well, I really want to start where I found my where I find my hard return. So I'm going to say location of hard return, and I'm going to hit colon iterations, like this, and I'm going to put some recursion along that. So I want it to start here. And how many characters do I want it to go? Let me just break this down to another level here so we can kind of see this better as I'm writing this. Well, I want it to go the difference between 72 and 16. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy this location of hard returns, and I'm going to paste it here. And I want to, instead of it being previous, I want to start with this, and I want to subtract out the previous from it. That's going to give me the number of characters between 16 and 72. If I go ahead and hit enter here, I got too many brackets there. If I go ahead and hit enter there, now what it says is hydraulic units is fluid clearly marked. That's the second line. For iteration 3, it goes is fluid level within marked limits. That's line 3. I need to do this, a handful of times until I get to a pound value, and then it looks like I've ran out of the iterations or its ability to find hard returns. And I can see if this indeed is really working by going out here, creating a view, and pivoting this view here, bringing this category up here, and here I am. I can see myself is fluid all the way down to all exterior, and then I end up getting a pound value here. I could go in and maybe clean this up with a clear air or whatever, and that is how I would do this using Quantrix Modeler, using some indeed we've got some using as in here, and actually I guess maybe it's not working all the way as it needs to be, because I need to go in here and I need to add the using as's to these formulas as well. So excuse me for that one, folks. Skipping ahead, getting too excited. So now if I were to go ahead and throw my using as's in here, now I believe I'm getting things correctly. And I see lubrication. This is still going on. Maybe I hit enter a couple more times until I get my pound value here to make sure that I'm getting all of the records or all of the lines that are listed here. So that is how you break text in a single cell with multiple lines into multiple cells. Pretty awesome what you can do with Quantrix. That's all I'm going to say. I think this tool is absolutely incredible. Its capabilities. I absolutely love Quantrix. I want to make you a Quantrix master. So I do hope that you'll reach out to me at quantrixauthority@gmail.com and ask me any question you have about Quantrix. And I hope that you'll join me again for another episode of Quantrix Authority with Rich Lopez.